Now I'm going to save and I'm going to try a recalculation. I want to make a little bit more room down on the bottom here. So I need to show my side view sketch, and it's this curve right here, remember? This curve. So that curve I want it to come down to about there, and maybe even a touch lower than that, like so. And we'll recompute. Alright, so that recompute went smoothly. I'm going to save again, validate, and leave the sketch behind. Cool, so I'm going to hide everything except for the head. Bring back the head, and I'm going to lay out my pave on top of the head. This is probably going to be one of the more tricky parts of this construction. So let's see, click on the head itself, we'll choose pave. I'm going to start from the outside edge, I think, which is a bit of a risky move, but I'll set up my symmetry planes first, same as before, 1 and 2. Test frontiers I will turn on. I'm going to pave this surface. 0.1 millimeter works, and handle collisions as well too. And we'll start off with, I don't know, 2 millimeter stones. Should see what those look like. Add a few of them. 1, 2. Those are pretty big. Let me see how it lines up. Yeah, I think that's too big. I'm going to bring it down to 1.8 millimeter stones. And you can see they start stacking up because I have the symmetry. So again, I'm going to go from the sides to the center because that gives me more room. So this one will snap onto the plane, bring it in like this, and you see it gives me a good idea of whether or not this configuration is going to fit. I think it's going to come pretty close. Let me let's change these to 1.7 millimeter. Changing them all individually, and then I'm going to go back and they'll give me a little bit more room now to fit that last stone in place. Yeah, you see now I think I have enough room for one more 1.7 to come in. See if it drops into place. A little too much. Let's turn off the test collisions or handle collisions, see what it looks like when it's in there. Yeah, it's very close to that 0.2 millimeter. So it's kind of a judgment call at this point. I mean, I think that is going to fly. I think that will be okay, especially since I'll put prongs here. That'll give me some dimension. So I'm going to keep moving, and we'll try putting in the same size stone above it, see how that works. Now you see it crosses, because it's a dome surface, it crosses the plane here. So I'm going to turn my handle collisions back on and turn off my test frontiers. And that should allow me to scope out the sizing that I'm going to need. So I'm going to take that stone and bring it down to, I don't know, 1.4. Let's see if we can get its partner to show up. Maybe 1.3. That looks okay. Let's bring the center stone so we can see how it's lining up. Yeah, that's alright. So we're going to add a few more stones here and here. Put those into position. Yeah, you see, right here I'm having an issue. It should be the same, but it's not lining up. see it's too close to the center plane, and if I pull it out, let's see if we can get it to all sit. I think it's going to create a problem here. So I'm going to turn off my handle collisions, and I'm going to do the last bit of this layout by hand. See if I can't fit them all in the way I want them, like that, and leave enough room. That. And finally, like that. Those have gotten really close. These are 1.4 millimeter, 1.3. Let's make them 1.2. Call it good. Look at it from a distance. Let's do the preview. Look at it from a distance. Yeah, we're going to call it good and validate there. Next, just like before, I'm going to do another pave round. I'm going to add the same symmetry, 1 and 2, and go to my positions, and this is going to be 0.8 again. And I'm just going to start laying in all my prongs. Start off there, 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 come through like that, and then I'll double prong all these bigger guys on the bottom. Maybe I don't need to double prong them. Yeah, no, that's fine. 4 prongs, definitely enough in this circumstance. That's on the wrong side. It's really important to always have your masters on the same side. So, I mean, obviously, I'm going to hide that. I'm actually going to put my test frontiers on for a second with a 0.1 millimeter, choose that surface, and now I can make them all line up evenly with that 0.1 millimeter, like so. Right, and we'll validate there. And I have all of my positions laid out. So I'm going to hide my axes and planes. I'm going to bring my shank back, and I'm going to bring the 2 pavés from the shank back. Next up, I'm going to use the prong tool and turn it to rounded, put it in the center, make it 1.2 high, radius 0.4, and I'm going to bring it down on the Z to, let's say, negative 0.6, so that'll leave 0.6 above, and we'll take that and that, cool. Pave 2 and Pave 4, and we'll do a jeweling. Nice. Next up, I'll take a stone, doesn't matter the size, and I'll go ahead and put a cutter on it. I do this with my cutter. I'll make it nice and long, like so, and then I also add the girdle. I'll make it like 1 millimeter because it gets scaled down. That gives me a nice seat. You'll see. Alright, now I'm going to jewel these into place. I'm only going to do them one at a time because of the booleans that I need to do. I'll validate like so, and then do it again on the top. Go into my tree, there's the stone cutter, there's the pave, position those in like so. I'll go into the solid module, save, do some subtractions. So that girdle that I did, it gives me this here, the seat. Just kind of drops it down a little bit. That looks great. Do a Boolean subtraction here. Looks good as well. And let's see, let's just check here. Make sure I'm getting... Yeah, no, that looks all fine. My concern would be if it was eating too much of the support and it got too thin here, but I think we have 1 millimeter thickness, which is definitely sufficient. Let's find those pavés. Where are they? There's one. There's two. We'll choose them both at the same time. Go into the jeweler's bench, choose the stone, and we'll jewel them out like that. Now, I'm pretty close to done here. I'm going to go like this in my solid module. I'll group those out as stones. So now I have stones. My Boolean will save. Go ahead and put some fillets on there for sure. Click there, there. Choose those. Do not want that one. Choose those. Do not want that one. And oh, it's not long enough. The cutter is not long enough. You see that? So I'm not going to do the fillet yet. It would be this one. Got to go to the cutter. Just make it a touch longer. Recompute that. Might take a second because it's got to do all the Boolean operations over again. Cool. See it cut through all the way now. And we'll do the fillets. Choose there. Choose there. Don't want that one. Don't want that one. Do want that one. And that one. Throw 0.2 millimeter fillet on. Nice. Really smooth. I'm also going to bring back, I noticed something else that happened. I'm going to bring back the cutters as a reference object, hide that, bring the head in, and I'm going to Boolean subtract. You see here and here, I'm going to subtract those cutters like so. Cutting out slightly there. See that? Looking really, really good. I'm going to save. Boolean add those together. Okay, so we got through the Boolean. We did get a warning here. Geometries have been slightly modified to avoid failure. Let's see what that means. Sometimes that warning can give you gaps, problems, but I think in this case, yeah, here's what happened. You see on this side, the rail is coming through, and on this side it is not. So it shifted, the program shifted the head over slightly, but by less than 1/10 of a millimeter. So in this case I am okay with that, and we're going to proceed saving, and I'm going to Boolean the prongs on. So yeah, it's just important to keep in mind when you see that specific error, geometries have been slightly modified or moved to avoid failure, you just got to take a good look and see what it actually did. And in this case, it's fine. So we'll Boolean that. And if you see this is going bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, it's because it's doing a lot of little tiny Boolean operations. All of the prongs are Boolean operations. Nice, and we got through that, so let's do a part doctor. It's true, so we're pretty happy here. Let's look at it from the top. Last thing is I'll go into my top view, and I will I'm going to put some prongs in. I usually put my prongs in with wire after the fact, but I'll show you how to do some for if you wanted to render. 0.5 is good for me. I'm going to turn off my grid snaps. I'm going to position this prong. Let's go like there with it. Turn it sideways. We're going to actually move it up on the Z to just below the girdle. Like there. Looks good. We'll take, so we'll do a move of this circle. Keeping the original. And trim out what we don't need. Can do an auto connect here. And leave the sketch. We have that curve there now. We'll do an extrusion. Bring it up. There. Almost done. Copy a face. Like so. Take that copy face, I'm going to do a multi-bulge to it, and push it over like so. Turn it to the side and give it the correct height, like that. I'm going to bring these down just slightly. Give it purchase, so if I did want to Boolean it, I can. And recompute. Take the multi-bulge, just bring it up. Actually, never mind. I don't like that there, so I'm just going to take the extrusion and add a little more height to it to compensate, and then we should be good. Nice. Lastly, I'll Boolean those two together, the extrusion and the multi-bulge. That was a fast one. Mirror it across. Looks good. Mirror those across. Looks good also. I don't like where my prongs are. It's very easy to fix. I can just take the top view. This one. I can just take that and do a move to it. Bring it over to the next set of prongs. Here, validate, rotate, recompute. Alright, so I'm going to leave my sketch. I'm going to look at everything I have, my stones. Those are all, we'll group them and call them render prongs. Render prongs. This is the ring. And voila, there we have it. We have the stones, the ring, and the render prongs, 3 sketches, a true solid piece, and hopefully some happy 3 designers out there.
So I hope you all enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed making it. It's been such a pleasure to connect with so many of you, to hear your stories, and to see your work. It's inspirational the amount of talent that we have in the 3 designer community. As I always say, the best place to share your inspirations and talent and stories is up on the forum. We have a contest going on right now to kind of highlight everybody's individual stories. So get involved in that. There's a lot of great prizes. If you have any questions about anything, get in touch with your local territory manager. And as always, I'm Joshua St. John, 3Design NYC. Go make some beautiful stuff.